Muy buenos dias, Philadelphia. Welcome as we are live from sunny, well, actually, it's about to be sunny. The sun is slowly starting to come up, but we are live here from Glendale, Arizona, and we are here for the Cardinals weekend here. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona facing off against the Cardinals this upcoming Sunday, so we are gearing up for that here right now. But of course, the Phillies have business at hand. Broke the drought, so round one, wild card round for the Phillies starts today at 2:07 Eastern Standard Time, 11:07 Western Standard Time, which is where I will be here today. But look, we're here, guys. This is what we've been waiting for 11 years, and ironically enough, the first opponent that we're going to go up against is going to be the same team that eliminated us 11 years ago. We all remember Ryan Howard falling to the ground as his Achilles just pops on the most important game, or most important play of that round during the 2011 playoffs. And here we are, fast forward 11 years later, we got these same stinking old Cardinals in round one. Albert Pujols, Adam Wainwright still hanging around, right? But this is obviously a much different St. Louis Cardinals team and a much different Philadelphia Phillies team, and anything can happen here going up again in this round one. So we're going to discuss and we're going to break down this matchup here as we preview today's matchup. But thank you so much for tuning on in. Welcome everyone to YouTube here. Check out my channel. I am El Parcero Philly, the unite of all things sports and culture in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. If you guys enjoyed today's content, do me the solid and hit that like button and subscribe for more Philly sports. We talk the Phillies, we talk the Eagles, we talk the Union, the Sixers, and the damn Flyers, so make sure you guys subscribe as well. But look, I think the whole mantra, the whole feeling around Philadelphia towards this baseball team is that, look, I don't think many of us expect for the Phillies to make much of a noise in the playoffs, considering the fact that, look, we kind of backed ourselves into the playoffs. The way we played over the last month of the half of the season is not what championship baseball looks like. But at the end of the day, it's all about the taste, right? Because when you get that first experience of being in the playoffs, and you hear Charlie Manuel talking about the 2007 playoff team when they made it and they lost the eventual NL winner Colorado Rockies. That experience was so valuable heading into 2008 because they got that taste, and losing to the Colorado Rockies actually allowed the Phillies to allow them to feel what that felt like. And they didn't want to feel that feeling again, the way they lost to Colorado, and that was big going into the next season as well. So I'm excited for this one. Though I want to kind of talk about the topic that we've been discussing in Philadelphia the past couple of days, because look, I think for a lot of us Phillies fans, we wanted, out of all the wild card possibilities for a matchup goes in round one, the one that we really wanted was the St. Louis Cardinals. Because when you think about it, I mean, the way we played off against the Mets this year, does that brew any type of confidence in any type of Phillies fan thinking that we can go in an October series to beat the New York Mets? I don't think anyone had the full confidence that could happen. But when you look at the Cardinals, it's a favorable matchup. We took care of business in the season here. And although this is a solid Cardinals squad, won the NL Central, take that for a grain of salt. I mean, when you got, the likes of the Pirates, the Reds, two of the worst baseball teams in the National League, the Cubs, listen, obviously we can't really talk crap on the Cubs if we're Phillies fans, considering the fact that they swept us for the season. But they're a young up-and-coming team. And then you got the Brewers, who we all saw obviously had a worse collapse than I wouldn't call ourselves a collapse, but it was terrible the way they kind of ended the season. They were leading the NL Central for half the season. The Cardinals kind of scooped up, and with their playing Cardinals baseball, disciplined baseball. They had young prospects, always. It seems like the Cardinals always have a stable of prospects that always come up and eventually take the reins for who they have. They don't want to. They're not a team that's going to pay players, right? They're not going to throw out big money like the Yankees or the Dodgers, but they have a set system that has worked for over 2 decades now, and they're going to stick by it. And I think that's going to be one of the keys here heading into this series. Again, I think this was a favorable matchup, and if you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, there is a good possibility that we could lose in this first round. I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs, and when you have a team, look, when you're in October baseball, the smartest teams, the most disciplined teams, the ones with good pitching, those teams typically are the ones that advance. And for the Phillies, look, there are some question marks, because when you look at this baseball team, on paper and when they're playing at their full capability, they can make smart decisions. They could play solid defense. I don't think it'll be a top 5 defense in the National League or even in baseball in general, but I think at their best, they can get the job done defensively. Pitching, obviously, look, the one thing that makes us feel really good heading into the playoffs is that in a series, to start off a series with game 1 and game 2 having Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, you would think that in the playoffs, those two would get the job done. And we saw what happened last Monday in Houston with the series on the line, how Aaron Nola came out and balled the F out. That was a fantastic performance by Aaron Nola, right? And so you have to expect that in a playoff, like in a do or die situation, in the playoffs, Aaron Nola could do the same thing. And no one of us are worried about Zach Wheeler either. We all fully believe that Zach Wheeler going up on the mound can get the job done because he is built that way. He is an absolute ace, and I'm so excited to see both of these guys in the playoffs. And then, of course, I mean, you have Ranger Suarez, and the real question mark is how does Rob Thompson handle this rotation? What will exactly look like? How deep will it be as well? Obviously, Game 3, you would expect that Ranger Suarez would show up in Philadelphia if it happens to be a Game 3 on Sunday. Coming back, you'd have Ranger Suarez start in that one. But then, look, if you advance to the next round, what does the pitching look like after that? Like, do you start Bailey Falter? Do you go back to Kyle Gibson? What are they looking like in the bullpen? So, if you're asking me, guys, I think that I would start Bailey Falter in some type of playoff game. But I do think that I'm starting him in a home situation. So, like, if we move on to the next round and we have to play off against Atlanta, which, oh my God, I do not want to do that. But if that's the case, then you would go and restart your rotation. You would have Zach Wheeler going up on Monday or on Game 1 against Atlanta or whoever it may be. And I think that that's how Rob Thompson's definitely going to handle it. I mean, the bullpen is definitely a bit of a question mark for a bullpen that definitely has looked really solid throughout the entire season, considering how historically bad this bullpen has been. We'll see what they're going to give us in the playoffs because they're also a group that did not finish the season on a bright note. I mean, adding Zach Eflin to the bullpen definitely helps. Adding Noah Syndergaard definitely helps. We'll see what Kyle Gibson's role in the bullpen will be as well. But adding some of those former starters into the bullpen definitely helps. And then you add on, you obviously, missing Corey Knebel, missing Brad Hand definitely will be big because of those veteran arms that those guys kind of bring. And people forget that Corey Knebel was actually looking really comfortable as that setup guy, the 8th inning guy. Seranthony Dominguez, who is someone that we kind of anticipated to be the closer, obviously has been battling his injuries, but also he hasn't looked the best either. Since coming back from injuries, he's definitely been struggling, and he's just trying to find that command back, and it's just unfortunate. It's the worst timing because, look, we're in the playoffs now, and we kind of need Seranthony Dominguez to be one of those big arms in the bullpen. So you still got Andrew Bellotti, which I want to see him kind of bounce back as well, but this bullpen should be able to get the job done. I mean, the closer is really going to be the question mark. Who will be the closer for some of these games to start off with? What will Rob Thompson kind of decide to go with? I would expect that Jose Alvarado would get some opportunities with that as well. You've seen him get some of those chances late in games. I mean, when you got that slider working and when he's got the strike zone command going as well, it definitely helps his game out. And then, of course, David Robertson. We haven't seen him in a little bit. He's been battling his injuries, and he should be back, and that's going to be bolster the bullpen as well. I think he does a solid job when he comes in relief for some of those middle innings, and that's another option that you can use coming out of the bullpen. But I think for this team, if you get 6 to 7 solid innings in Game 1 and Game 2 from Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, then I feel really good at pulling out 2 or 3 of these guys from the bullpen and getting the job done to finishing it out. But I think in general, it won't matter what the pitching does if you're not going to get the run support, if you're not going to have the bats step up the way they're supposed to. And the whole narrative and the whole mantra throughout the season has been this offense, if it's not swinging for the fences, it's really hard for these guys to get some run support or to put runs on the board. And that's one thing that's going to have to change. And unfortunately, that it sucks because if we don't hit homers, I just don't see how we can get runs on the board and get the dub. And I hate to say that, but if you get in Game 1 and Game 2, you got homers from Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto. I really do like our chances here. When the bats are flying, when the bats are hot and they're swinging hard and heavy, it's really, really hard to stop this team, and that's going to be one of the things that we're going to have to hold our hat on. It's got to listen. The offense has to step up. That what they gave us throughout the last part of this season is unacceptable. I mean, don't listen. Don't give me those 8 runs they put on back-to-back nights against the Washington Nationals. This team, this offense in particular, has not gotten it going at the latter part of the season, and it needs to turn on here in the series. It's the playoffs now. I love the way they showed up in Game 1. Game 1 of the last series against the Astros. Having Kyle Schwarber just start off with a leadoff home run off the first pitch by Lance McCullers, that set the tone, and that was the difference of that 3-0 win in Game 1 against the Astros, and that was a lot of fun, and that's what they're going to have to kind of do. This team has been really good at stealing bases as well. Find a way to steal those bases, anything you can to get the advantage over the St. Louis Cardinals, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And oh, by the way, St. Louis, I dare you, I double dog dare you to steal on JT Realmuto. Please do it. Please do it. All right, on the offense, one of my main question marks, Bryce Harper. It is hard for me to kill Bryce Harper considering he is a star player. And what he did in 2021 was very special. But the fact of the matter is, Bryce, in the playoffs, the record is not good. We know this. He's been publicly criticized of this. I mean, you saw what the Washington Nationals did after he left. So it's time for him to make a stand and make a statement on his career. He's one of the best baseball players. When it's all said and done, he will be one of the best baseball players of all time. But you don't have any playoff accolades to show for it. And let's be 100 with one another. The way he played after coming back from the injury was not good enough. Now, it's kind of hard to fault a guy coming back from an injury, and a lot of us anticipate he came back a little bit early from that finger injury. On top of that, he's still got that UC situation on his elbow. And it's making it really tough for him to get out to the plate and try to produce. And I think the one problem is that he's Bryce Harper. He wants to swing for the fences. We get that. But right now, we need we need hits. We need our reigning NL MVP with runners on to find a way to advance those runners. Simple as that. It's simple stuff like that. Now, I want to believe in Bryce Harper that he will find a way to be clutch, because that's the one knock on him, is that he has lacked clutchness in his career. It's a reason why he's never even played in a World Series. All right, so we'll see what Bryce Harper has. But another part of this lineup is just the big bats in general and how St. Louis will kind of combat it. Will guys like Nick Castellanos, will Gene Segura step up big? JT Realmuto has been hot at the latter part of the season. Will he continue that into the playoffs? Those are all obvious question marks that will need to be answered. Rhys Hoskins, will his big bat step up here in this situation as well? And the kids, the daycare. I mean, the daycare was huge this year. And the big part about it was Rob Thompson trusting the kids in vital situations, and they stepped up big. And especially in moments where your big bats really did not give you much of anything. Those kids really stepped up. What will Bryson Stott, what will Matty V give to us? Alec Boehm, will he continue his great season? I think he's enjoying playing in Philadelphia now. So, it's going to be big for those kids. If they give you a little bit of a pop, I really, really like it. It feels like when those kids give you some contributions, you're typically going to be in a good spot. But look, on paper, this is a matchup that I love here for the Phillies. But when it comes to October baseball, the mental game becomes so much more highlighted. Everything is ramped up, right? The hits are different. You got balls that should just be, a simple ground out. They're just squirting through and getting past shortstop. And so can the Phillies seize the moment? Can they find a way to get 2 wins here against the St. Louis Cardinals? It can be done. It can absolutely 110% be done. But will they, in fact, get it done? And there's going to be a lot of fun matchups here in this round one. I really want to watch the Padres and the Mets. It's going to be a fun one. San Diego, I don't know. You guys let me know. Do we want San Diego to win? A part of me does like to see the Mets fans crumple, but What if we met up against the Mets at some point in this playoffs? What if we did that? And what if we ended their season? How glorious and how marvelous would that be? But hey, we can only hope to and see. And I think another big factor here in the series, and we talked about the offense, we talked about the defense, we talked about the pitching, but Rob Thompson. Rob has obviously done a great job since replacing Joe Girardi. I mean, I'll say it's a good job. I'm not really content the way the regular season kind of ended for the Phillies. They got in, so he broke the drought, and that's all kudos. But again, playoff time, in-game decisions, things ramp up here now. So I'm curious to see how Rob Thompson managing will affect this series here against the St. Louis Cardinals. But I'm excited, guys. You should be too. Game 1, Zach Wheeler going up against my Colombian, and a guy I wanted at the trade deadline, but I think it was best suited that we didn't get Jose Quintana, so we'll be able to get him in Game 1. Game 2, you're going to have Aaron Nola going against Miles and Nicolas, which I do believe we faced off in St. Louis earlier on in the season, which we did get the dub, so that'll be Game 2. Game 3, if needed, Ranger Suarez will get the start. Undecided who will be that starter for St. Louis. We'll see what they decide to do, but those will be 1, 2, and 3. I hope they give us Wainwright in Game 3 because he does not pitch well in Philadelphia. We rocked him early on in the year in Philadelphia, so give me Adam Wainwright in Philly, so that should be a lot of fun. Guys, at the end of the day, I do feel like the Phillies can win the series. What will happen after that, I do not know. Do not ask me that, but I think in this series, the Phillies will take it in 3. We'll get the win back in Philadelphia on Sunday. Ranger Suarez will get the dub, and I like our Phillies to get the job done. So you guys let me know what you guys want to do. 3.5 hours. That's right, 3.5 hours. We got until the game. 11:07 first pitch here in Arizona for me here. So I'll be trying to record it and watch it. Cardinals pitching is not great. They are not even pitching a surprise rotation against us because of it. I do like the advantage that we have with the pitching for sure. I mean, Quintana's solid, but nothing that's going to put any fear in you. And Miles Nicolas is a nice, young, solid guy, young guy, but it's not putting any fear in me. And even Adam Wainwright. Wainwright is obviously a legendary guy, but is he really putting fear in you at the age that he's at? So I would have to agree with you, man. Let me see here. We have a big 1-2 punch in pitching and a better offense than them. Yes, I agree with you. Take out the NL East, plop us in the Central, and our record is a lot better. Yes, I agree. The Central was absolutely garbage this year, and if you put the Phillies in that division, 110%. Game on Sunday. You're right. I'm sorry. That's tomorrow. That is tomorrow. I do apologize there. All right, guys, that's going to do it here for today's Phillies preview here. I got the Phillies getting the series win against the Cardinals here, 2-1. You guys let me know what you think is going to happen. But, guys, enjoy Screw the Cardinals weekend. My legs are eaten up by mosquitoes now, and I do have to go. But until next time, guys, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm a Parcero Philly, and as always, let's go Philly Sports.